Not many of you probably know who I am at all. There's a few people here, a few familiar faces, including Weasel, and also some people that I used to read with at Taft Street Coffee House before it was unfortunately demolished. But I'm going to be reading some stuff from my published stuff, and also some as yet unpublished. But I'm going to have a third book coming out soon. So if you're interested in any of my work, if you just like the stuff, you know, you can get with me later on after I'm done. And I'll give you my name, my full name. You can look me up on Facebook, you know, and I'll give you the links to how you can get my stuff. Okay. I'm starting this off with a quote from J.G. Ballard, the science fiction author. This is from his book, The Drowned World. The brief span of an individual life is misleading. Each one of us is as old as the entire biological kingdom, and our bloodstreams are tributaries of the great sea of its total memory. The uterine odyssey of the growing fetus recapitulates the entire evolutionary past, and its central nervous system is a coded time scale, each nexus of neurons and each spinal level marking a symbolic station, a unit of neuronic time. Okay, this first one's called Star Circle, I Am Welcome. For pleasures granted evermore, exchanged for pain endured, I'll claim my inheritance in the star circle of my ancestry. No more dying wishes devoured in anger, no tears shed over wasteful desires. And if I'm reborn as a tree, I'll grow my roots down to youngest Eden. In this realm of sacrifice, my consciousness bleeds openly. Magical science copulates with mortality beneath the layers of my soft machine. Veins, sinew, cartilage, bone, all the porous, slimy matter of living. As nature's intricate design poses more doubts than faith can rationalize. Layer upon layer, lying dormant and bare, exposing nothing more than gore. We look away in stunned silence. It's no wonder we've never understood. And when doubts cast shadows, these giants of infinity fill the distance between us and the stars. This wild, wanton cosmos, a perfect enclosure of promise for a singular existence with our raw earthly riches. The mechanism of time holds itself out of reach, the innermost secret of secrets. For the infestation of life decrees we must return to dust one day. Each new dawn transforms our outlook through its imaginings. Whenever fear is a boulder that will not budge from dreams, the rooms we sleep in are a sacred confinement. The tyrannical darkness of the world can't weaken us, even after we have been deprived of vision by sin. Destiny is gray enough to lose in the fog as we awaken. Still, we try to smuggle artifacts out of our dreams, to escape with the hope and serenity of a kind that has never been seen. Thank you. Okay. I have some stuff that's kind of extreme, and I do apologize in advance if I offend anyone, because I tried to keep this at least R-rated. I don't do PG-13, not really. So this one's called A Good Poem. That's the name of it, A Good Poem. It's from my first book, Filthy Knowledge, which one of the readers here tonight helped me publish back in 2011, VGK, standing over there by the water. A good poem is Hitler weeping. A good poem is a child dying of malnutrition. A good poem is a woman's period. A good poem is a beheaded king. A good poem is the smell of contempt reeking from you. A good poem is dried blood on clothes. A good poem is the sun burning out. A good poem is a homeless man urinating on the rich. A good poem is anal penetration. A good poem is a boy in girl's underwear. A good poem is a priest on heroin. A good poem is a soldier on chronic. A good poem is a suicide clinic. A good poem is a boy sodomizing his sister's dolls. A good poem is a bird flying into a closed window. A good poem is that scream you heard last night. A good poem is drowning with your head in the sink. A good poem is a quote from Dennis Cooper. A good poem is an open fist. A good poem is an invisible man. A good poem is seeing double. A good poem is sleep deprivation. A good poem is fear consuming you. A good poem is jumping off a bridge. A good poem is assassinating angels. A good poem is a box of poisoned chocolates. A good poem is a bullet meant for you but killed your friend. A good poem is masturbating in a confession booth. A good poem is Jesus rising from the dead as Mary Magdalene. A good poem is sucking on a teenage boy's toes. A good poem is a hemophiliac with a bloody nose. A good poem is midnight black on platinum blonde. A good poem is a simultaneous climax. A good poem is a naked lunch. A good poem is obsession with the past. A good poem is dread of the future. A good poem is someone who never speaks. A good poem is a death row inmate's last words. A good poem is a pyromaniac's wet dream. A good poem is paradise in hell. A good poem is dying during sex. A good poem is like Jethro Tull. A good poem is never, 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 never dull. Thank you. Okay, this is also from my first book. It's called The War Song. One of my favorites. The wind is speaking for the dead when the turbulence kicks in. It howls with the madness of wolves and has a wisdom the living cannot understand. I have tracked mud from burial grounds. I have stolen red from the children's faces. I have kept alive your hidden transgressions and was baptized naked in the rain. I belong to this, to hear the people cry for me as if I might have wings, and what's been destroyed I leave behind me when the wind is beside me. I only look ahead, never over my shoulder, because fear will be staring right back. The wind is speaking for the dead when the storm is raging and you think someone you used to love might be the cause of consternation. There are first surface losses of innocence. There are soldiers coming home who can't remember. There are 8 fingers on the hands of remorse and monsters in your head who empathize. You have a thirst for blood. So are you up to this? Torrential spirits whip the days of tunnel dream incarnations, and all voice spins and grays when the sky is a thunder. God's laughter resounds in the emptiness inside of us, and fear commands us to laugh right back. The wind is speaking for the dead tonight. No one is safe alone out here, believing that maybe this battle, once it is won, is an answer to pretentious prayers, is an edict of victory for old veterans, is an afterglow of 2 state penetrations, is an incubated egg of the New World dinosaurs. As in the stories our forefathers told, we are prepared for this. What always was is now what comes. Don't let logic distract you from a ground zero death when the impact nullifies everything in sound, sight, mind. The emptiness in us sets the heavens ablaze to violent white, and as the world comes to a bittersweet end, we will join the voices of the dead in the wind. Thank you. I don't really do happy poems. Can you tell? I'm going to read something. Okay, well, God. I really want to debut this poem, but it's got some stuff in it. Do you guys trust me?
No.
You wanna go on this ride with me? Okay. This is one of my newest poems. It's going to be for my third book, which is called Synchronicity and Violence. Filthy Knowledge 2, Synchronicity and Violence. This one, this is the title. Okay, folks, brace yourselves. Nigglets and Wiglets. Okay, it starts with a quote. By and large, language is a tool for concealing the truth. That's George Carlin. Temple edges burn, hallelujah, parchments crackle. Slaver plank walk to the shuck and jive, boom, boom. Newport smoking assimilated Magnum X's, traders looking for the loophole in the loom. When epithet sees power, it's like, oh yeah? Fuck intellect, consider this shit. Through their tantrum conniption fit act, arguing about whether pants should sag is pointless. Who is behind the it power? A word privilege defined, when it was the definition. From the first agonizing screams of a lash across the back, ripping flesh off bone, to perpetuating vengeance, best kept code, trickling through siphon veins. The illicit thrills of big oil spills, too rich to answer for decadent decades. That fear and hatred fuel of Hitler-esque fanaticism fanning flames. It struts such nonsense, breaking the pitch so completely, people pass out from stupidity. A scream word of universal hatred, a sinking anvil in the gut from all the race-bait balls hurt. The other, the maggot-brained outlaw, the boogeyman, the hoodoo man, the gorilla. Just from jive-ass honky grunting, replacing those mouthing, shooting, fatal, yeah? What? Participate, make them see, gesture with it, and imagine the grossest bodily functions, pantomiming the go-to event funerals, the empty unfinished. Society orders and you obey. These livid screams vary word for word. Psychology even resigns to using slurs. Yelling, gun down, hands up. Actions are louder. Black Lives Matter rejected, denied. Words are drones as lines bleed news, completely behind the matter at hand. The thought world gives warped words power. The yell gesture, not worth arguing over. Yesterday was past it, tomorrow an exaggeration of it. Today's it is glib and petty. Pants sag, hoodies flip, gangsters bitch, niggas pantomiming nonsense. A modern blackface. Is the word rapper about thinking shooting bad? Like one can stand writing makes the shit? In a logically low, even and away, shitting up westerns for living fossils, a totem facetious, a vacuum for hearing anger, seeking attractiveness, it sounds stupid and disgusting. Collectively, the poorest time in the divisive north and south. What is convincing to the human attention of what next now? Black Lives Matter, right? Who are you trying to convince? Weren't you calling each other niggers just 6 minutes ago? Stereotype stuffs hypocrites can't get over themselves. Africa, a sun word, a soul energy, their flesh created by God. They don't Tarantino everyone and fuss over wiglets. Oh, apartheid, a word so art house cinema filthy, a bulletproof showstopper morality tale, not in our hemisphere, but shame adjacent to it. The epithets from spilled blood perk up our ears when someone utters, say, how big, black, and bad is that African diamonds and gold? It's for American profiteering, not native Negroes. Bow down to your slave mine CEOs. Why be different from the status quo? Hope and change is smashed to pieces, so use the indignant South to make the stars and stripes change. Maybe secede. Rebel flag, yay! Oh, that lost cause nostalgia, such sanctimonious bullshit, because you are the eye of it, a myth, a must-be lynched, wretched carpetbagger from the north. Take away the liberty, all that's left is malicious opportunity. Take away the guns, you got yourself a mutiny. A really evil definition of free will, conspiracies run on deviancy. More like, he's South, he's white, he's a racist of course, let in the doubts, the disgusting shit we speak is cancerous, why do we play the victim card? Screw the pooches on Capitol Hill, they've lost heart through their dull mentality. There will be no mercy for those that would suppress a fat Jamaican blunt and promote white trash meth among the local yokels. All that jazz and white-loving aspiration, no redemption in drugs, betrayal, under the voice that has supremacy afraid to believe. Not so clever, his penis is small and rather scarred by alcohol. A view of emptiness, of washed-up intoxicatedness, the American facade of influence. Survive from this betrayal, it is an intimacy unique to our country, immorally unemotional. Fuck behind the walls of cowardice, the white man's burden after all. hurts like a stone gut once it's deep within. Cops, cracking, niggling, heads with glee. Humpty Dumpty, hee hee, how much is anyone's guess? Black power are called to commodity. His stereotypes are often compelling, but unhealthy and illogical. Seriously, goddammit, this totem pole of America. Don't simplify racism to a we shall overcome Hallmark commercial or sharing a 64 variety Heinz ketchup bottle. Don't joke about this matter. Where are your morals and standards? If your words of hate don't part easier than the legs of whores, I'm worse than Vietnam. Box me up and ship me home in monthly installments. Just Tarantino me on the layaway plan. Thank you. Don't expect you to understand that. But thank you for allowing me to do that, because yeah, it was one of those like really extreme poems that I was afraid it would get me in trouble here tonight. Yes. Yeah. Woo. Okay, this is a poem called For Harmony Korine, and after this I'll do one more. Harmony Korine is a director. Hello, Martian Emperor. Where does your story begin? Scratching the chalkboards of cinema like a Tagorat American. Your sneaky approach to trap Faulkner's ghost would make Warhol turn pink. Drowning kittens in Chloe's bathwater, filming New York from a hole in the sink. Hypnotized by burning crosses, possessed by the darkened spirits within. And when you get drunk on rum and coke, the morning after is why shit happens. Preoccupied with Jewish alibis and Oscar Mayer stapled to the walls. Whistling the Executioner's song with a handful of Valium, Benzedrine, and Midol. You ready your camera and you capture it all as the fires singe the cobwebs of the sky. They'll know you're in control when the credits roll before Gotham's gargoyles fly. Because love's a drug and life's a lie, and in between clever alibis. You've mastered the effortless connection between stolen breath and asphyxiation. Riding shotgun in the dark with Larry Clark. Your eyes sparkle like the coins in wishing wells, with your milk crate pan full of half-baked ideas and stories rescued from hot dog hell. For all the ketchup stains on your shoes, for all your weak-kneed guitar blues as you lead your parade on cracker-smack sidewalks and shatter the neon Budweiser signs. You romanticize the pain of cancerous queens and swim in the Dead Sea of bleach blonde dreams with your therapeutic kiddie punk nonsense, with your tunnel vision art insemination. You invoke the thin line between genius and insanity, and you dare to expose the nothingness of America and catch flack from the snobs of art, cheeks clenched so tight they cannot fart. You aren't afraid to rant and rhyme, and that makes you a rebel for these whirlwind times. Like a younger John Waters without self-righteousness, we all see more ourselves through your eyes.
Her first car, Chinese made, her career, a 3-year MBA, her dream, 40 countries before 40, still no man in sight. She leaves a job she doesn't like, works for herself, wanting to become still no man in mind. She owns a place she calls home, lives off her own investment, still single at 36, still no man on her plans. In China, she's called the leftover lady. In USA, a spinster. An old maid in Mexico. A childless woman, la quedada, left behind. Then again, she is none. She is just a woman, living life with or without a man in the fullest. In a time where being a woman still battles with being alone and independent is not wrong, a man and men are left in finding out the role with someone who is independent and strong. Don't forget, Lady is her name.
Yes.
In honor of the immigrants, this poem is called Across the Seas. They come to America, a place they call home. They come from somewhere else, something different, something old, carrying hope in their hands, leaving despair behind. They come to America finding a new beginning to something old. They carry memories saved in white stained envelopes, reminders of where they are from. They come to America savoring new beginning while zealously keeping traditions at home. And with every sunrise, they are grateful for that they can call home. They come to America, land of the free, home of the brave, to leave its meaning, to bear their future in a land where some die to call home. Thank you. I'm gonna read another one that is gonna be published in and this one in the tradition of our fellow former poet, the last, please excuse the strongness of the poem. It's called The Guarded Secret, and it's a strong poem, so I'll just read it out to you. Mothers hide their daughters' femininity, pounding pubescent girls' breasts to stop their physical development, to push back a biological clock, forging the shape of a flower back into a bud, pounding women's natural body back to a year or two. A heartless deed, yet well-intended, to defy the one who casts the iron, to protect her young from males who believe unleashing libido is an innocent and uncontrollable task, bringing forth unwanted pregnancies, unwanted children. Women flatten their daughters' futures with sordid pain, cries and shouts, left deadened, hushed, imprisoned by walls of beliefs and a misguided intention to protect Cameron's daughters from undesirable actions, from being plucked from their youth by the sharp edge of sexual abuse. Prepubescent are warned in agony to hide what they were naturally meant to be forced to shrivel under heated leaves and a scalding grinding stone, to crush a budding gland scarred into a future written with guilt and silence. A desperate measure in a world where equality escapes its meaning because of differences unique to its human gender and its views, lies scarred into a future guarded by secrets. Thank you. This one was written, and you will eventually see that it was inspired. For those who love to draw, will hopefully see the picture that I'm trying to read out. Torn sketch. Line-drawn images create visions of a lesser God in premium quality pencils of granite, 2H and 2B range weapons. Others inspire inking on heavy drawing paper, shouting thoughts in an emotional charcoal and gray world. Tail hair, supple and strong, expertly fashioned the next satire from hands of a talented few. Time, mind, hints of red, intertwined with the world's different views of itself. Hair tells of parodies with a red sable brush. It cuts and stings before losing its spring. It conspires to draw one last line. Je suis Charlie. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Trying to, and maybe in a different note, but maybe just one more. This is called Saudade. It's based on one of my passions of events. It says, Sadat, passion is the unreachable, never-ending desire that escapes us once it's reached. Passion is the insatiable love by which our existence is imprisoned. Passion confesses the unbearable pleasure, while pain reminds us of the excess. Passion promises freedom while enslaving lovers to a reason that escapes reason. Passion dies to intense yearning and longing. It leaves in the petite mort of lovemaking. The agony of Christ, the jihadist leitmotif. Passion makes us what we want to be and yet may never become. Passion is what brings life and death to its common ground of existence. Thank you. And I just want to end with this one. Matching in harmony. Press 1 for English. Press 2 for Spanish. Press 3 for a male representative. Press 4 for a female representative. Press 5 for a life coach. Please note, some customers may experience a longer wait time. Press 6 to continue. To speak to a representative, please hold. Please hold. We apologize for the delay. Please hold. For females interested in marriage, press 1. For males interested in marriage, press 2. If you're 18 or older and male and wish to date, press 3 to hear your options. If you are 18 or older and female and wish to date, press 4 to hear your options. Matching in Harmony helps you find the right person for you. Get more from Matching in Harmony, plans and packages that includes background checks and full virtual experience without the trouble. Enjoy real web experiences at super fast speeds only from Matching in Harmony, making and rethinking your relationship. Helping you redefine your relationship because your time should be spent in enjoying life with a partner. Got needs, get responses. All guaranteed to satisfy your impulses. Matching in Harmony lets you enjoy the feeling of being loved and belonging. Helping people finding the right partner is our priority. Please hold. Please hold. All representatives are extremely busy. Please hold. Your call is very important to us. Thank you.
What's going on? How's everybody?
Yeah. Right now, you're what's going on.
Yeah? Yeah. All right, I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, everybody hear me? All right. I'm going to blow the mic out like I did last time I was here. All right, we're all adults.
Yes.
This might offend a couple people, and that's all right. I mean, y'all are out of the house and shit, so if you're offended and you're out of your house, you know, gotta deal with that. All right. I'm a nice guy, don't worry about it. I'm not gonna offend anybody. I don't know. Fuck it. All right, let's go. This is present moment. Face maker, stick out tongue, slander center, sly dog, banter. I present to you the present moment, the epicenter, the quintessential human touch. We have learned to be ourselves again, to trust in our natures, to trust that they are good, and only complications that confuse us and cause us to doubt, cause us to demonize, remove from the catalog, fixate on the neg, snag us for millions of years inside of one mustard seed. Even time says, I guess I'll just have to wait, and so it waits for us to evolve past our present moment. Thank you, thank you. This is called Bigots Fall Down Dead. I sit in my red chair reading Bukowski, scrolling down in his poems, war vets killing elephants without reason, mission accomplished. Later, the protagonist admits he feels bad about the elephants. Then, don't go back there. Don't ever do anything like that again. Be grateful that you live in a country that doesn't really give a shit about any of this. And scroll down, keep scrolling. Happy hour, honestly, obviously, quickly inhibits the fabric, soft, sweet spot, bought dinner tonight, burned out headlights, stolen new bike, fury on the end of a stick, beating you to death with a fury, breathing you to life with images, flash alive along a trove, highlights and midtones, shadows, a crutch on a conclusion, spelling out the word convention, conventional mantras and viruses visualized. Pleading with you is a thing of the past. Artifacts crack, broken things stack. Thank you. Alright, this is a new one I wrote. It's about getting high with your family.
Yes!
It's called Smoking the Family Plan. Crumbs, mere crumbs, scraped and loaded into the bowl, bowl loaded into the bung. Lighter, 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 you feel the feels, living room moments, the moment you feel it. This is a break you are watching. Did they have this plan all along from the beginning? Does it take effect? Does it kick in? It goes a mile. You were kicked in and vibrating soft. You acknowledge the best in people and move from the vantage of a light beam shot through darkness, full of holes, listening for entry points until it's over. Yeah, that was about a good night. Alright, let's go back into the past a little bit. The past. This is called Birth of a Field of Ideas and Images. Is this smooth? Yeah! Hyperactively speaking of balance, one at a time, formation of words, switches flipped on, birth of a field of ideas and images, birth in a field. The doctor smacks a baby so that as it starts to cry, he knows that the thing is alive. The baby notices him writing something down. The lid is or was the lid of a lunchbox, now full of holes, then made to connect, functioned as a protector of many foodstuffs before it fell victim to my curiosities. Something was lacking, so I tried my hand at destruction, but everything in a little time passing is gonna be okay, and if you can remain tender, there will be better times. Even hell freezes over, even hell itself freezes over at the right temperature. Nothing stays the same, and the bartender agrees to everything that I say. I think I will have another drink and think about it. To be born anywhere, to be born is to wake up dizzy, and everyone else has already been born already. Kinda unfair when you think about it. Hang 10 by Gatorade morning, I'll never dream. I have never dreamt I'd contact the spirits in such a fashion, moving into unknown territory. Our attempts to connect teach us tears, and we learn or don't learn. In fear we marry too soon, make babies before we are ready. It's the next madness. Watch the news, watch the insects. In some aspects, they are not so foreign. The decision to write turned me into a being beyond me. While some see me as angry, others see the beauty. It is all in how you carry yourself along.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. I'm not blowing out the speakers tonight. Not yet, anyway. Everybody having a good Saturday? All right. I have a couple things in mind. When you take advantage of my good nature, it is all downhill from there. There. Drinking I am washing my problems. I'm watching my problems fly away. There. Now, drink the shivering drink down. I tend to fantasize about Fanta. I took a long trip to Atlanta and didn't tell you, but I'm telling you now. Storm chasers chased by a storm loopy. It's an end of episode of Tom and Jerry, and now they talk. Oh God, no, dear Tara. Hey woman, sometimes you perfectly scare me. Sometimes I scare my summer. Perfectly terrified by Kalika, and she is really little. Look what is happening. I'll pay anything to get you to stop. I'll pay anything to get you to stop talking. I am scared of myself sometimes. Sacred rust-grit nutrient. As a little Asian boy was an albino. He was in elementary. They used to beat his ass for alien skin. The whitest skin that you know. That's where it starts. Fucked up people with childhood vendettas. Don't bother coming to terms with that shit. Later they come at you with a hatchet. Instead of all love and light, he comes at you with matches to light the straw under the bed that you think that you're sleeping in. Bad seeds indeed. I got a good heart. You know I got a good heart inside, but a bum ticker. This is a plot thickener, and birds fly into engines. All the rattling in the cloud. Now my favorite, the preyed upon, pray for more prayer. Prayers per hour, PPH like PCP. Your followers scare the stuffing out of me. I have got that PMA, you got that false Terra. I got that real Terra. Scream Phoenix, not much of an answer. No Mercy is gonna practice a long fortitudinal stretch right out on your front lawn, right out in front of us, like that. And patience is the anti-virtue, melted down your wedding ring and hawked it into a pawn shop. Some bad apples along the way, and I do believe bad apples just get crabbier. And what are you if you just can't get wiser and leave them there on the wire? The chair becoming hard as granite. Grenadine says, say my name, damn it. 1, 2, it's my third tequila shot. Why don't you quit being a little bitch? 3 wins is the motherfucking winner. I catch something in my eye that's not really there. Proof of a big idea on the horizon. Again, 3 shots for a puke-filled indoctrination. I hack into your H-Town spelled backwards. And H-Town in an evening gown backwards is I can't do the math. I can spew the stage for you like a hungover Statue of Liberty. Thank you. Alright, I got time still, probably. So I'm gonna do more. The new one, the newer, the worser. This is called All These Grand Gestures. I'm parched tonight. What is your resistance to what you are dreaming? Could be a cool time to go fishing for the wholesome life you never thought was achievable. Under cardboard and diamond-crusted misfires made of milk chocolate shakes and hidden agendas, the price tags on heads nailed hastily to the front wall. Why prepare yourself for shadows and peaks and valleys and mosh pits when really, well, how do you prepare for the worst that you've ever seen other than by closing your eyes and funneling and diffusing your attention like unboxing hardware for a YouTube channel for 1 million hits each? use bleach, show your bottom teeth for the job interview, and tell them to fuck themselves as necessary. Haters are gonna go on, and yeah, the fakers can go and fuck themselves. Bottom shelf, bottom dollar, lower your expectations to get to the best bargains, and be alright sometimes walking away empty-handed. Embrace your maladies, embrace of the vampire or some such shit. Harness the strength of lordly pleasures in a nearby hell realm. All things possible in a tantrum to bring the heavens down, ramped and vamped up in the process of ritual discussions of aspirations chucked out the window. All the TED Talks or a bunch of white folk talk anyway. Do they really have their finger on the pulse of the people? Good, I guess, still to discuss that which is undimmed, Dolores, delouse, unblouse, unleash the power of the unibrow. 10 in a row now, trees peek up over the fence. You can keep a spreadsheet of your stamp collection that was pulled up into the tornado sky. He left his old life that way. He forgot how to smile for a decade. Maybe it was only a year, a whole year after that, a plane goes by like the ghosts of football players will haunt you in your sleep. You give to a popular charity once a year and tell people how selfless you are. Slam dunking Dunkin' Donuts. You are so fucking selfless in the midst of your destruction. All the fanfare and all these grand gestures. Ballistics, cantaloupe, wayfarer, wood color, light brown fence, sexual boundaries, the near end of an album, the needle in the cloud, the company clown, the court gesture falls on his candy ass as they fall into hysterics, prepare scripts for the grandchildren. When I was alive, then the neighborhood shook and we thought someone dropped a bomb on DC from overseas. They said the plane striking the buildings in New York was the beginning of a terrorist attack. We were like, no, that's false flag. We scrambled like bugs across the city and suburbs in order to get home and assess what to do next. Poems came flying out easily as they do now, I guess. Hair was kind of greasy. Soundtracks to old movies, old high school yearbooks went into the dumpster at the bottom of the road, and for renewal, shaved my head bald and did push-ups for no apparent reason, perhaps to summon the work ethic of demons and take no bullshit from anyone. And to this day, it is about zero bullshit, yet to slave away some corporate spasm like an idiot and having very little to show for it. Planetary escape, reasoning forlornly forward, mistake after mistake. Keep calm and don't be a bitch. You're insanely fucking stupid when you lose the ability to realize that you're walking in circles and the ability to trace your steps, for your steps are swept, windswept, pulled under. Devil take it, he hammers away at what's left of a sink in an abandoned house, since the construction workers won't be back anytime soon. Thank you. That's a newer one. I got a lot of material, and it's pretty fun to be this far in the game. About 20 so years of doing poetry in front of people. I never thought as a little boy I would grow up and be such a little slut in front of everybody like this. Somebody said that to me. I had to repeat that. I'm not that witty. Maybe. Maybe not. What was I thinking about? Oh. Do y'all use computers and all? Alright, I can tell you guys are real savvy. I don't know, I can't tell anything. This is a poem about a lady that I knew who was real crazed by the fact that she really sucked on the computer. Like, she could barely use the mouse and, all this kind of stuff, move windows around. Like a real disaster area. It's called No Compute. She had computer problems of the third kind. She'd glare at the screen and curse its existence. In HD, it would laugh back at her. No computes, no computes. What the hell? I mean, what do you expect, dude? You got a Dell. Life was fine before I turned on and tuned in. Viruses piling up, DLL. What's next for us if I can't get you to print out my term paper? Try writing a letter to your dad on that dot matrix piece of fucking shit. I could just throw a real fit right now. The desire is strong to stand up and kick that monitor out to the bed. Too bad the CPU be the real culprit here, safe at feet, and the real problem still unknown. That's that one. All right, let's see. I think I got some other shit. This said I have a long back catalog, and I'm trying to decipher what is the best for the group, and it's not that easy. Okay, let me go back into Tara. Actually, this is one of my books, and this poem is called Tara. Y'all know what that means? No. I have to explain it because it's esoteric to everyone. It's that your journal is a person. The more that you give of yourself to your journal, to your writing on a day-to-day basis, the more you have someone there with you. And so I kind of personified it out in my mind as it's a hot lady named Tara. My journal is a she, is a girl, is a lady, is a reliable woman. We listen to a lot of music together, and there is always a pot of coffee brewing in breakfast eternity. She tells me to keep on putting it down like I've been doing. We're experiencing a drought in the place. Time stands still. Time is not messing around. She knows this is under my skin, and she's really the one hearing prayers. Once we're gone, gone too will be the power of prayer. So you can rest easy when you're dead. My notepad, she is the porn star of my dreams. The whole world is jealous, but I invited the world 1 billion times and got stood up. One thing is, I do continue to get up early and pen out the thought best I can. Tara, sweetest journal of all life, I am such a slut for you. I know outside the act of sex, which people think is screwing, which is really the act of eating a peach or a plum with rivers running, no one likes a slut because they think a slut is a liar, not to be trusted. Only damage can come, poisoning every sipping pond, but poisoning every sipping pond, but new sluts are being made every day and being made differently. Trust me, I am that slut for you. And in these times, chastity means something more without my penning you. And I know that sounds phallic, and it is. I'm still penning my whole motherfucking brain into you. I want to shout from the rooftops. I want to shout from the rooftops. If only I weren't scared of heights and having such issues with heights. In fear of falling, but I'm free falling like red flush to face. I'm ready to divide time that is occupied against free time and go see my love for you past snippets and scrawls of stolen time. Tara, Tara, I cut these fingernails lesbian short and dig into you. Thank you. More, maybe. Yes. Yeah, what's my problem? Okay. I like, no one can figure it out, but I like to write a lot about my past when I was little, hanging out with my grandparents. It's really deeply embedded. When my grandmother died a couple of years ago, she was 100 years old. My family went to visit her, and my mom and her and me were sitting there, the three of us there together, and my mom goes, Evelyn, Glenn put out a new book. He put out another one of his books, or something like that. And my grandmother goes, oh really? I really never thought you were very good at writing. Yeah. I thought it was awesome. I thought that was a burn. You're supposed to enjoy that. This is about riding my bike and thinking about shit back then, I suppose. It's called On a Tuesday, Part 1. On a Tuesday, I was cruising down to Rice Village for no particular reason, only to take in everything that I can with my eyes. Breathe it all in, push down, cycle back around on pedals with a pride that beams a gladness, nodding to the evening purple fusing into the horizon. It's telling me that there's more where that came from. All the while I'm listening to what was on in Canada in the early 80s, Timothy Leary's discussing artificial intelligence and the flavor of the commercials, like scholastic readers warning us of warheads pointed at us. Us school children will have to crouch down low in the time of warheads. For if we fight on the playground one time too many, who knows what will happen. But by the time I make it to Rice Village, I want to fire off warheads of my own all up the side of Kirby into the River Oaks Country Club, or send sentinels who will know what to do. Once they get there, I am inclined to create imaginary friends along the way. All along the way, on a Tuesday, I am floating above the surface of a lake, creating a reflection, conjuring a memory, hoping for a sea creature just beneath us that will upturn my grandfather's boat. A young boy's glorious death before he can reach out. A young boy's glorious death before he can return bragging to his worried to death grandmother. Mama, I just discovered the Loch Ness. I just discovered the Loch Ness. I reached out and tried to pet it. It took me up in his teeth high and gnashed at me and tore me to ribbons before I could sing, oh, is this a mercy? Yeah. Chesapeake Bay, Maryland. Alright, guess we should do one more or something? I don't know.
I wasn't planning on
Okay.
If there's enough time.
Let's do gratitude. Do you all know about gratitude? About my poem Gratitude? It's not about the gratitude that you have. This poem falls in on itself, but it starts out sounding real nice. Anger is an issue, I suppose. I bow in holy gratitude for what the world offers me in abundance. Abundance is already there. You just have to notice it, you know, if it's actually there. Loving dedication, tribute, celebration, bowing in gratitude, bowing to this feeling, bowing to the notepad, to this keyboard, this cup, that car, that tree of oxygenation, that building, protecting people from crazy people at night, the harsher earth elements in life. Shit, you don't even want to sleep out in the garage. I bow to this current feeling and consensus, simple as an abacus, bowing in gratitude for the wilderness, the bewilderment of wilderness, or being bewildered out in the middle of wilderness. This is how you make a dog smile. You write him a letter. You don't miss it in your lifetime. Is your life fine? Steady beating lifeline, bowing in gratitude to some random dude walking and listening to music on his way to wherever he's going, some random spot, which will turn out to be not so random after all. Gratitude for solitude. It's something that you just have to appreciate for it showing up, but let it go its merry way when it wants. Gratitude for aptitude. The ambulance serves as a bell to bring you back to yourself, 360 degrees of yourself in 3D. Dimensional prevention is like this. It's like it's with this. Glances, last chances, pickpockets with your thoughts in their pockets. Head nods, ramrods, Cape Cod, flyer for the missing dog. Bowing in gratitude. Keep trying, keep training your positive thought train to react. It is a matter of identifying where I want to go and trusting that a spiritual thirst can be quenched. Bowing in gratitude to these socks that I begin to slide onto my feet. Trust the warmth. When you're young, they ask you to choose your profession when you're busy being 5. I struggle against falling asleep really hard. I struggle like this back and forth. I struggle against falling asleep until it wins. I try to be as stern as possible. I must accomplish some things first. Don't always trust the warmth. You want to transform your dwelling spot into a holy abode of conscious awareness and love? You work from the inside until you reach the outside. This is the next part. This is the next part of the day. We like to call it nighttime. This makes it anti-day. Without the sun, but the sun is shining on the other side. There's more than one side. Don't be selfish. Interviews with Bill Murray are hella interesting. It seems late in the evening. It is only 8 o'clock. Just woke up a bit ago with sniffles. It was a long fucking nap. I can do what I want. Work was fucking dumb. There are so many dumb people. My God, if God exists in that tangible way that people like to push, you'd think that he'd put some smarter people down on the surface of his creation. Or what some think is the crime of humanity is that it turns in on itself, poisons itself, kills itself. Work was fucking dumb. I'm speaking Greek to some. My gratitude is for past, present, and future to get me some. When I ask for you to get me a glass of water, I also want for you to get yourself some. I'm speaking Greek, and I'm not even really from DC in the ultimate sense. DC and I had to deal with each other, and we're still both afloat in some sense. The death toll rises as I rise out of bed to brush my teeth while they're scrubbing blood from the floors in Ecuador. Everyone is dumb somewhere. There are dumb people everywhere. They want to jump out at you in traffic. Dumb people create traffic. I don't mean traffic always. When's the last time you've seen a drunk-ass procession of ants marching to their next discovery? Those fuckers are organized. Those fuckers are organized. Those fuckers are organized. Grateful for those who grated on my nerves and the silence that I would get to afterwards. When you're done speaking, I need to go and take a shower and forget about some things. Finding a place to sit down in the light rain, a quiet invaded by the sounds of the city. They only wish that they could sustain. Silence reigns supreme and makes people uncomfortable. Grateful for the uprising. Grateful for the uprising. Flip a cop car over. Burn your mayor. Baby steps of breath. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We can do it! Finding my way back. So I'm coming back to consciousness because I fell under an object that felt like a terrible table, but was probably the hull of a UFO hovering over the corn crops, scooping up the children of the corn.
This one's really short.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Before she walked away. You came to a devil. She loved you as a god. And you loved being her god. You wanted her. She made it easy for you. All you needed was to give her love and your dollars and your soul.
Yes.
I'm so shy. Self-love conquers all, but my heart favors love between two souls. Real love is a truth that is different for each of us. But to me, his eyes are stars that can be seen in daylight. Centers of flowers budding and blooming as they gather the sweet nectar of his thoughts. Two citrus fruits, or one halved, exposing magical, radiant chrysalis of delicate-skinned pulp. Those eyes want to become butterflies and fly into something beautiful. I aspire to be something beautiful. Those eyes caress in moments of want. His soul is the muse of all the love poems I have ever written. And I am bound by forces stronger than blood. Love and more love. Thank you. I'll do one that's one of my favorite ones. I wrote it when I first moved back here, and I was driving in Galveston, and it was like sunset, and everything was orange, you know, because when the sun sets, it paints everything orange, and you know, that's the golden hour, where you take pictures, and everything looks fuzzy, and everything looks beautiful. Yeah, you don't even need a camera to see that. But people still take pictures. And I don't know if you'll notice, but in Galveston, there's pink oleanders. You know, some are white too, but they're everywhere. Whoever planned the city put these oleanders like all up and down Broadway, like everywhere they could find a place, they put them there. But few people know that they're poisonous. I didn't realize that. Kind of weird. So, this is the poem. Pink oleanders play tag with the breeze in soft focus under oranging Ra's vibrations. Sunday slips into night's satin slip, and I have a Texas-sized view of Rubik's Cube clouds and skies, cosmic puzzles. I am learning about stars and how to count them. I am intrigued by colors and how to interpret them. I wonder how dreams resonate inside cacao and cream-colored skies. I am learning how to live in daylight. I am speaking in the jabber of new dawns and bugs crawling over rotting wood. Yo soy del Maya. All dreams of motherlands are worth savoring, remembering, and protecting. Like lime versus lemon. Limon. Yo soy del Maya. And I'm pretty sure they never binded the colors red, white, and blue. Or the heat, for that matter. Or the cold. Or the warmth. In el sangre of a beating heart. Maybe back then, they watched the oleanders play tag with the moon. Thank you.
All right. How can you beat that? I mean, really, you can't. It's not like a dead horse. All right, so considering I've got some time here, I will do some self-promotion. allthewrongtopics.com. I don't publish really anywhere else, it seems. Just kind of slow like that. So, here we go. Ringing sentiment. that the world as we know it is over, while not knowing what to do with ourselves in the mass of sweaty, offensive bodies forcing their way through the portal to home unknown until we all get within a better range of whatever it is that is the desired place or thing, as objects of our dreams made into a manifestation by idle forces forcing to work the ones whose attention is paid as installments, stalled by the absurd qualities of the herd versus the hive, when both sides are brimming with idiots, whether it is religious pilgrimages or opportunistic business trips made to extravagant excess that vagrants cannot access without threatening the pursuit of crappiness into which we all seem wooed, countering the mystic mojo of finding our way out of the maze, no matter how corny it appears to mean or say, as a crap happening to be beat out of us from the start, as when we first were shot out of this human cannon that carried us to fruition under opposition of hatred, inasmuch as the burden of love evolving us through these generations by pieces, passing seasons and via bliss, born to conjoin these traits with another lost soul who wishes only the best for us and we for them, and tapping a part of the ancestor whole filled with consequences from actions we have never made on our own. But it doesn't stop us from being any more or less than we simply are, while trapped here mocking the irony of it all, as now is marching away to fight yet another battle with the shitty weapons of the worrisome, as displayed like the scalps of previous soldiers and leaders who fought bravely, though never knew that this is wherein their motions would lead, while their comrades and other bodies were crumpling to the ground, once struck down by a fire unbridled, as witness to the televised execution of things, so that some kindnesses bear out the spoiled rotten fruits of labors in vibrant currency, as spreading and electrifying shocks of the system into a current state taken for granted by the residents, unaware that the rules of a mankind has imposed them with all forms of tactical subversion, working to undermine the whatever it is a people might expect of their governance. Sorry, incoming call that I had to stop there. Damn. And it's a really important call too, so it's really kind of necessary. Nope, not a job. My cat is being tortured by the apartment people, so it's really not fun. But at the same time, I'm still on the mic. So there you go. Yeah, thank you.
Is that going to be okay?
I should hope so, but I won't know until I get off the microphone. Okay, so, here we go. Yeah. Unaware that the rules of the mankind has imposed them with all forms of tactical subversion, working to undermine the whatever it is a people might expect of their governance, as when has there ever been some kind of happiness here without the price attached by those arch cronies dealing in demands? Attempting to cajole inasmuch command the rest of this horde as secretive strategies used to direct ancient plot lines of struggle and conquer, as cosmic jokesmiths of the highest order, unlike wizards behind the curtain, whose laughter is as residue maniacal and malignant as fickle shadows fade into background noise. But no thing will ever stay silent for too long, as energies release and recycle over those courses grown and charted even in what we call death. There is always motion throughout the layers as they churn, and to expose what it is that ails us, no matter the refusal we have to truly see it from whatever surface appearance might be projected, to assume visions that observers could wish to appease their own egos. Thank you. That one's called Thick Epiphany. Appreciate that. Thank you. This one is called Didgeridoo. Yes. Blowing the horn of plenty as perhaps thinly veiled metaphor to describing a deal we have carved out with all our dead gods and those yet born into this magical world that eats its children, as time robs us of our will to live, as the nerves burned out by the overstimulation, realized here, as superabundance gives way to diseases and plague waves of ignorance, to keep these decaying frames lost and oblivious, amazed that it somehow keeps moving along as we jerk off the old system, making our machines intense and more imposing than us at times. When the mystical and the digital combine into one unified field paradigm ascent to a new mind, perhaps one step up from those labored animals we have been for this long at last, as the gears of war and industry start grinding to a halt, if under a sick jurisdiction of those whose attempts to mechanize humanity dislodged compassion and all that is humane from the soul, a purged cold hole fill or be filled with the toxic backwash after generations of abuse let loose, and then to pipe a magma of stories through the minds of children growing up loose within a system that doesn't ever have their best interests in focus unless there is some ulterior angle to maintain a privilege as an edge one step ahead of the game played, defending a droning atmosphere of dread and paranoia as better of the many evils pervasive in this world scenario, estranged from a species in duress, as the modern burden of conformity to bear as emotional weight, constraining any social movement from place to place, when there are so many unwanted offending swaggers, gestures, as the codes we speak with, driving us to try to understand what others are saying to us through their exaggerated symbols and syllables, woven, twisting meaning, and the moments we spend trying to interpret what it means to being this human, as a variety of ways to address this as a problem to be solved, witnessed, and cataloged in an extrapolation of human opinion, guessing by strokes of the imagination, breaching the blood-brain barrier to enter a variety of things into the living consciousness that might even sting, if reluctantly unwilling to any new changes of perspective, to give anything a chance in pleading its case. Soon, playing out a fantasy sometimes as a fanciful daydream that opens out to awakening parts of awareness, never realized before that single epiphany of the moment, as we might quickly forget once the moment is supposedly over. But the deeper we go, the more we grow as parts of a civilization experiencing itself collectively with a massive mortal connective tissue that is more than merely a soul or a body or any a purely abstracted conclusion that you may offer, because it all leads to this one definite point between you and I as we travel through this harmony, as all ancestors and entities on the pathways and those dreamtime settings sometimes yearned for, as spiritual in swings greater than to simply be religious, if we endorse us at all. Thank you. I'll go back on my last. This one is called Freak Flags Fly High. The deep frequency is proudly displayed with bold and present colors, swaying in the diesel breeze with a fluid grace that a wind, no matter how harsh, always carries within it, crossing the threshold between fire and ice as the inspiration comes in bold strokes of imagination, swaying all too briefly on for those impermanent periods we have here, sometimes fully aware of what is going on around us, although in a state of almost constant, a struggle to attempt relieving the psychic pressure of fear, lurking all over the space in various forms of an identity, to carry the messages further than one form would allow. Innovation beyond our mere faith in this one skin we find ourselves tripping within, sometimes deriding the ungainly suit of flesh toward abuse, where an understanding for the dynamics of oneself has eroded or is never thoroughly developed as a sense inside of a person, whose ideas may be kept locked up, holding back the brilliance of this enlightenment for others deemed selfishly unworthy, no matter what the cost, in an even exchange that must eventually be taught and learned like a muscle memory made reflex, capable of a potential for adaptation even through any negative judgments or pejorative remarks, as reflecting general indigence of a spirit used to material expectations. And when the universe grants the wishes it feels we become worthy of, as many of these articulate visions evolve and expand before inner eyes that see further ahead than a you or I would be capable now, as chooses to do the same because of that equalizing force in a freedom of choice, punishing the evildoers as well preventing their return once in awareness of the harm possible to others of us not used to the torment or suffering utilized as tools of a subtle social manipulation through the vicious etiquette of torture in tune with the cruel fits of mankind. not allowing enough breathing room for the few of those left not waving their flags or the other conformist paraphernalia giving up their public permission for the shit to keep washing over us, to train the masses to be scared and stupid, with the distinct purpose to not question these orders given, even those rules shifting and changing at a moment's notice, as within our modern police state. But that a will of a people is not now so easily domesticated when there is no capacity for a dismissal against this wall created by we all who believed everything we are told by those we call the higher authorities, even as they come in, calling for our executions and holding us accountable for all those ailments, social, mental, and otherwise, that prevail, yet we do not see. But can we ever overcome this mass-produced profile that absorbs our skills and knowledges in homogeneous masses that crash and wield godlike powers now at the push of a button, which as easily frames this world into constraining boxes, become crushing once the visions created become too narrowed to work? Thank you. Last one, a heavy, petty distraction. Where are our leaders in honesty who have had to adapt to the same as we to these traditional formats, mad at the alteration of sequence and anything new, like that repeated pattern of worries or concerns that sends the furrows down our brow in times of stress and not an actual relaxation, as those futile humping moves adulterated by the adults is making children forget what it truly means to behave in a manner so befitting of this humanity that accepts and loves without fear as the linchpin or keystone in this a false mechanical ritual fostered by a shamed curiosity which changed somewhere between here and there. Honesty as that substantial yet painful taboo commodity to which all seriousness defers power, to the facts as related to the tribal community we share as more stories, each a slightly veiled mystery lived out as a reality to those few who witness and cater to gems of wisdom worth their values in use and in application amidst the man-made universe of constraint that overtakes those ideal bubbles blown by the denizens making use of their misery. But even adaptation to these dysfunctions has its common quirks that cannot be simply avoided, like emotions coming back to haunt those who cannot grasp the effects as serious repercussions rippling outward in ringing circles, whirling about to spin this cosmos into the crazy trivial dances of macabre embracing everything as a love unconditional that will span beyond our scales of time and ideals of sacred as that immutable tactic to win us over with promises of glory and riches, distinctive fits of ire and rage at those condemning forces working over the handful captured here who were only trying to promote harmony between spheres of influence before the arresting hands of mankind afflicting the sufferers with more of what deserves a criminal so well known for subversive activities against a brutal dictatorship through the counseling of others who have also been attacked unjustly by these same hands. We are kept sad and tragic fools as a means of keeping humanity in check with the rules and regulations said to be divined from some higher authority whose state shall remain nameless as long as we remain faithless, dissecting questions the pieces of this dream allows us to see, taking an insight from the random distress as it flows through us like water, and it tugs and transmits what we may assume to be instructions to restoration of greatness. But this seems more like fairy tale woven over the barest essentials to speak deeply to our personal sense of humanity, as it can perceive things beyond ourselves into creating connective bonds between our needs and our precariously balanced environment, allowing communication when the winds of change are right and various unknown stars seem to align with the righteous forces working in our favor, even as we try to be wary of all the villains in whose demonological aspects of strife and terror and worry as terms of challenge yet to be spurned.
All right.